What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tim Warren Show. I am coming to you guys live from Virginia, but even though I'm on vacation, that's probably the biggest reason right now that crypto is pumping. It seems to always happen when I leave for vacation, but we're still going to talk about the markets here today. Our live show from 3 to 4. This will be the only live show. Well, it's not going to be the only live show. I'll tell you a little more about that. It'll be the only live show with me in it this week. But crypto prices have started to pump once again. Bitcoin made its way all the way up to 116,500, a level that we actually talked about in our VIP trading group a little bit based on some indicators. Will we see a major breakthrough, or will we see Bitcoin fall back down to the downside and go sub 100K? There still are targets out on a weekly chart from a sell signal that suggests that is still possible. Either way, though, the next 48 hours will be critical towards deciding what the next major move for crypto is going to look like. Why? Well, in the next 48 hours, we will hear from the Fed once again, not only about rate cuts for this month, but what the future will look like as well. We're going to cover a whole lot of stories in today's show, so do not go anywhere. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. I'm joined, as always, by the boys. One of them, we're sharing a house at the moment. You guess which one. Smay, how are you feeling today, my friend?
Well, Tim, you're not in here, but I do have another friend. Come here.
Uh-oh. Wow, that friend just popped up out of nowhere.
Dog reveal.
You in Hogwarts?
All right.
What a weird.
Get out of here.
What a cutie.
Get out of here.
And then it just disappeared like nothing's happening there.
I can make animals appear out of
witchcraft is
thin
happening
air.
over in your house right now, but
and an exercise bike. I can make that appear too. Anyways, Tim, you're not in my house.
Spoiler, I'm not in Smay's house. I am in the room right next to Shrum. One of the reasons why our condo, I'm not staying at Shrum's house. It's not that big to accommodate myself and my family. But we did find out last night the Wi-Fi in my condo absolutely stinks. So I am recording this live show in the kitchen area, I guess this is. A lot of cool stuff here. I don't want to mess with the camera and show you guys the full thing. Wait, can you zoom out a little bit on me, Smay? There's a bird nest. I'm pretty sure this is where the old Twitter bird is retired and living at the moment, right in this little hole above my head. So that's pretty cool. Shrum, how you like having me in Virginia with you? How are you doing?
Well, Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve. You know, I've got my friend here with me in Virginia, and the Hokies got the big W. I'm a UF Gator fan, but it's always to see a smile on my friend's face when their team gets a big W. And you got to be at the game, didn't you, there in Blacksburg, Tim?
Listen, the refs tried to steal the game from us Friday night. They tried their darndest. If you don't follow American college football, start rooting for the Hokies because we just beat California and the refs in one game. I think that might have been the most exciting Virginia Tech game I've been at live. There's been other games in the history that were probably more exciting that I had to watch on the television, but it was awesome to be there, be a part of history. First ever team to rough the passer while he's holding the ball. Don't even know how that was possible, but we managed it, and it almost cost us the game. But I'm going to the other game this Saturday. We're playing Louisville. It will be exciting. Louisville's a little better than California, so. But who knows? You know, it's the Hokies. We have a way of making the impossible possible. Maybe we beat the number 16 team in the country. And you know what? What I would love to do is as I'm going to that game, I would love to see Bitcoin and my favorite altcoins sitting at new all-time highs on Saturday as I'm driving back to Lane Stadium. Wouldn't that be a great week for everybody? Let me know in chat if you guys are doing it. If you want crypto to hit new all-time highs, you should become Hokie fans and root for the Hokies this Saturday as we take on the Louisville Cardinals in Lane Stadium once again. I'll tell you guys, I'm on vacation. I am keeping up with the big news. Shrum's going to help update even myself on the show with some of the more integral little stories. Obviously, I'm trying to navigate inside of my vacation. How much can I work and keep my work family happy, but also be on vacation and make my wife and my family happy. It's a delicate balance, but the good news is vacations for Tim always equal pumps for you guys. So we're here. I'm here to please everybody and everyone. You guys ready to get into it? Look at some charts before we get into our news. Smash the like right now if you're ready for it. By the way, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video. It is Breakout right there above. Can you pull it up for me? Right over there. There we go. Thank you. Breakout is a sponsor of today's live show. Listen, if you want to trade, I recommend everybody, make sure you trade responsibly. Make sure you're not over leveraging. Make sure you're not doing anything crazy. But Breakout is a partner of the channel for everyone out there who's looking for an opportunity to trade higher capital. Maybe you only have $100. Maybe you only have $1,000. If you want to trade with higher capital, this is a prop firm that right now you can go and trade with larger accounts. For example, a couple weeks ago, we talked about this on the channel several times. With $1,000, we purchased an $100,000 account. You know how much money you can make if you only have like a 3% move to the upside when you only trade with like $1,000? Yes, it's going to be like $30, right? Cool. That's not that big of a deal. When you get a 3% win on something like $100,000, all of a sudden we're talking about $3,000 per trade. We had a 30% win, gaining us over $30,000 over a weekend simply from using the Breakout prop firm. Trade responsibly. Reach out to them. Let them know we sent you. There are certifications you have to pass, but if you're trading, you're crushing your trading game, especially if you're using this new indicator that our community is using, and you want to trade a little more capital, go check out Breakout. That's a great platform to use. We highly recommend them. We use them ourselves. Check them out. Let's get into the charts here. I'm going to share my screen, Smay, and let's just examine what's going on. Bitcoin climbed itself, like I said, all the way back up today, back towards 116,500. We find ourselves kind of using 115 as support at the moment. You're going to see on the weekly chart, we've had a couple of pullbacks here today. There is a sell signal that was on the table back here earlier. If you had used our strategy, you would have had a very good TP1 on our order block right here that you could have taken profit on that short. We've had another bounce here. The bigger question is going to be on this 4-hour chart, will we get a substantial sell signal, right? Will we have one of those? We are seeing some suggestions. A 4-hour sell signal could be close. You have all these red reversals. You do see a little gray dot right there, but the money flow technically is still positive. However, this little box right here, this does tell us that lower time frames are showing us bearishness, so it's something to keep an eye on. With that said, one of the biggest reasons we've been pumping, though, because you have to trade multiple time frames, right? We're kind of looking at the 4-hour chart like day trading stuff. We did have a swing trade we talked about last week at the end of the week that is paying off beautifully. In fact, hit our take profit earlier here on 116,500 from, guess what? The daily buy signal coming in here. Bullish divergence, green momentum, positive money flow. We came up. We talked about there was a chance we could make our way all the way up towards 118, but that order block being right there, you wanted to take some profit just below 117,000. Will we keep pushing? How much lower will we drop? We're going to have to talk about that a little bit later on in the show, mostly because of this thing right here. All that daily chart's bullish. 4-hour and 1-hour, they're turning bearish, but in the grand scheme of things, they're still bullish. It's the weekly chart that we're just still watching and saying, hey, how far do we have to drop? We did hit a very crucial order block on the weekly chart. So that's a very good sign. But historically, when we get these weekly sell signals, if you've not been watching our show, we talk about this all the time. And I just have to make sure that you're prepared for this and aware this is happening. There's clearly a sell signal still in effect on the weekly chart where we had the bearish divergence. You see that thin red line right there. Some of you might not be able to see it great. But a thin red line, gray dot and negative money flow. That has only happened a handful of times so far this cycle. Every single time. Like back here in April, like back here technically it did it here in July of 2024, back over here as well in September of 2023, these weekly sell signals do have you pull back to or slightly below the smart trail concept here, right? This is a very classic trade. That smart trail concept, the support level is coming in at 98,704, all right? So what this means is either A, we hit this order block, and the bulls are taking over in a way they have not taken over this entire bull run so far. And we're going to ignore the lower smart trail, right? That's option A. I think a lot of you guys are rooting for that. Option B is history repeats itself again, and we hit that 98.7, maybe even wick a little lower towards 92. I think there's some liquidations, depending on what time frame you're looking at, down here towards 92,000. That could be kind of interesting. But in a nutshell, we're not out of the woods just yet. I was very clear on this last week. I'm going to stay clear on it right now. We need to break above and hold above 116,000. Did we break above it? Yes. That's a very good sign. But it's not enough to have a wick go above. We need to see some daily candles, both open and close above 116,000, kind of confirming the bulls have shattered this resistance, this former level of a sell-off back on October 13th, and will be ready to shoot to the upside. Okay, that's what we're watching for right now. So as optimistic as we are about the bull run continuing, and believe me, I do not believe we're in a bear market. I just cannot confidently sit here and tell you guys that I'm sure that the bottom is in. There are signs the bottom could be in. There's ways that it could look that way. But if you're waiting for true confirmation, which good traders do, we don't have that confirmation just yet. So make sure you're trading accordingly. Some other things to be aware of before we get into some news here. Gold continues to come to the downside. This is something I told you guys. We had a daily sell signal last week that was, in fact, it's working perfectly. Like this indicator, I'm telling you guys right now, if you're not in our VIP trading group, which is the only place right now you can get this indicator, or at least if you want to get it for free. I think there's a way you can pay for it. We're working on all the options as it's being built out. But right now, if you're in our VIP trading group, you get this for free. Go check out that link in the walk down below. We knew the sell-off in gold was coming. Why? Well, first of all, it was overextended. But number two, see that little sell signal right there? Look at when it triggered as well. I'm going to zoom in for this. Nice and clean. Gray dot matching the red reversal negative money flow comes in right as gold decides to top out and make its little tumble. This is what made me tell you guys, hey, I think gold at least wants to make its way down here towards 39.25. Could it go lower? It absolutely could go lower. But that was my target last week, right? At least back here on the 21st. So far, so good. Gold's continuing to drop on the charts right there. So be aware of that one. Could it go lower? We're not seeing any weekly sell signals on gold just yet. We do see some pretty overextended signs though, right? This yellow tells us there are some selling signals on lower time frames. It's just not certain on the 2-daily yet, but you do have a red reversal. You do have a bearish momentum dot coming in this week, and it definitely looks like that money flow could curl over. What does that mean exactly? Oop, wrong button there. What does that mean exactly for gold? Well, historically, let's take a look at how gold responded to the last time. It didn't really even come back down towards that smart trail on gold. So we're not necessarily going to sit here and tell you, oh, gold absolutely is going to want to pull back all the way to 3,500 where that smart trail is sitting. That's not what I'm going to say here. What I'll tell you is every time we've gotten this sell signal, for example, right here in March of 2025, you can see a sideways long multi-month consolidated sideways trade for gold. Same thing back here. We had this sell signal in October of 24, multi-month long consolidation. And of course, right back in here as well, this sell signal in May of 24. Again, no major pullback. We're not saying we have to touch the smart trail, but we are saying this big momentum, this bullishness that's happened for gold over the last couple of months, probably a consolidation coming at best. At worst, we do pull back. We do come down and touch that smart trail on the weekly chart, which would bring us all the way back down towards former resistance, towards $3,500. So keep an eye on that one. But for right now, if you didn't watch my video last week, go watch it. I literally talked about how the last time this happened, crypto exploded. It has everything to do with this gold chart. What happens every time gold doesn't have to crash. Like, this is not an anti-gold video. I'm not an anti-gold person. But what I am is a realist when I look at charts. When gold has these overextended periods of time and they consolidate or pull back, crypto seems to always take off to the upside. So this is a really good sign right now as we're watching the Bitcoin and crypto charts not be confirmed yet bullish, but give us early signs as we're watching gold struggle and pull back. That should be a very positive sign for all our crypto holders out there that crypto's ready to go. Speaking of all this, Bitcoin dominance continues to just bounce within that little trading range. Are we technically trending to the upside right now on small time frames? Yes, but we're respecting trend lines with the exception of that October 10th freak out, right? Which was clear, crazy manipulation. Some of the craziest manipulation the market's ever seen. I was about to say it was the worst day in crypto history for liquidations. You saw this random spike. Since then, we're respecting these higher highs and higher lows. But in a rising channel like this, charts like this end up breaking to the downside. When Bitcoin dominance goes to the downside, I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just telling you, I have never watched Bitcoin dominance collapse as the crypto prices collapse as well. Every time crypto dominance is falling, crypto prices, altcoin prices are increasing. So what does that mean? Another good sign that we haven't made the breakout yet. We're not making any grand moves, but we're preparing ourselves continually. We're respecting resistance in a way that predicts Bitcoin dominance should be falling to the downside. Guess what else is a good chart for the altcoin space? USDT dominance is falling to the downside. After wicking and touching a trend line that's been in existence since way back here in September of 2023, it looks like USDT dominance has once again topped and is making its way back down. Just so you know, some other time periods where this happened, think April of 2025. What happened then? Oh, yeah, major bottom before a massive rally. Also back in September of 2024, what happened back then? Oh, that's right. Crypto had a massive rally. So as we're watching gold pull back, we're watching Bitcoin dominance show bearish charts, and we're watching USDT dominance show some top out signals. It is hard not to be bullish on the crypto and altcoin space. But of course, we're not out of the woods. Nothing's confirmed. So continue to watch shows like this, watch the charts, find people who want to educate you, not tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want you to just blindly follow me. I want to show you what I'm seeing. I want to talk you through my thinking, but I ultimately want you to make the decision for yourself. I want you to learn how to read these charts. Find other people like us, right? We're not even the only ones. There are so many great content creators out there, but make sure you're following people out there that care about you, love you, and they love you enough to tell you the truth, even when the truth isn't very fun. Right now, I would love to say, guys, confirmed, bottom in, buy it like it's crazy, because we're not going any lower. I just can't say it yet, but I will. The minute I feel confident about it, I will tell you that I'm confirming the bottom is in and we'll be good to go. That's where I am right now. Let's get into some news, though. It's not all about the charts. We'll come back and look at some specific charts, especially with some of you guys' favorite altcoins. But let's talk about some news events that are kind of leading towards today's big rally, the weekend's big rally, and why we should still be bullish long-term on the markets. For that, instead of me taking you through it, I want to throw it over to our head of research. Shrum has been on top of all this while I'm on vacation. Shrum, take it away. What's going on in the news right now people need to know about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to read you all a breaking news headline from earlier this morning, and then I'm going to show you all a poly market spread. Let's get started with that headline. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Wei said President Xi Jinping and Donald Trump respect each other. That's all he said, but this is kind of the foundation for a lot of the bullishness in investor sentiment today. Wang called the relationship a key strategic asset in China-U.S. relations in a call with Secretary of State Marco Rubio today, according to Reuters. And our commentary was it hits different when the Chinese say the bull thing. It absolutely does, because when have we heard President Donald Trump come out and say bullish things about the relationship with China? It's almost every day that we hear that. But when it's an actual foreign minister of the Chinese government, it hits a little different. And it has hit the betting spread over on Polymarket a little bit different too. There's now a 92% chance of a U.S.-China trade agreement by November 10th. And this is the highest volume spread here on Polymarket, which is why I'm showing you this. Obviously, November 1st is a key date as well, but this is the spread that is catching everyone's interest, 92%. So, Tim, I want to throw it to you and ask, is this the big one? Or do you think that we're going to have another period before we get to the trade meeting with Xi Jinping and President Donald Trump this week on Friday? That meeting is going to be coming up. Do you think it's going to be Thursday and Friday, excuse me. Do you think that there's going to be some more turbulence between now and then, or do you think that this positive bullish sentiment is going to hold through to the week and we'll see constantly higher prices that could lead into quite a big rally? Well,
of course, I'm sure we're going to talk about it here in a second. The biggest news is the FOMC decision happening on Wednesday. All right, I won't be here live with you guys. That's the day I promised my wife I will be doing some vacation stuff with her, but cool news. I don't think we announced this yet. Shrum's going to run the show. He's going to have a special guest joining him. Some of you know him, some of you don't. His name, Caleb Franzen, will be live with Shrum and Smay to break down what's going on at the FOMC day. I will be paying attention, probably touring downtown Williamsburg, historic Williamsburg or something. I can't remember what we're doing that day. But that's going to be the most important news that happens all week. I will maintain what I have been saying since the day, a couple of weeks ago, when we had that huge crash. And it was based upon a short that came out a minute before Donald Trump announced that China and America were not talking well, and he was going to put 155% tariffs on China. Some of you will remember, I have not wavered once since his statement. I said, I guarantee you this is fixed by Sunday. This is not a major bearish event. It will get fixed. Ended up being right? He comes out, walks it back on Sunday. We didn't get a major rally or anything, but it did bounce back up. Then, of course, he comes back out saying, oh, no, we have problems. Maybe we're not going to have any type of deal. We need to be aware of this happening to China. We need to be aware that we could end up having to put tariffs on them. Of course, the markets did back down. Then he comes out and says that's not sustainable. We've been having this flip-flop back and forth with United States trade talk with China. I have maintained the whole time that there's going to be a process, but I think it's going to end up being bullish. Does that mean we can't see another fake out between now and the 10th? Not at all. We got a long time period, right? We have 2 weeks until that 10th deadline. We could see multiple flip-flops back and forth. I think everything right now is kind of coming out the way I'm reading it. It sounds like Besant's pretty optimistic. I think even Chinese representatives are coming out saying that Trump and Xi Jinping have a good relationship. I think Trump said he's going to go to China, then Xi Jinping's going to come see him in America. All signs are pointing towards good news. That doesn't mean things can't flip-flop. That is the story of Donald Trump. Like him, love him, hate him, I don't care. I just want to make money. I'm going to analyze what he's doing because it affects the markets. Could we have some more ups and downs with this headlines? Yes. But by the end of it, will the end be us officially giving massive tariffs to China or coming to a trade deal? My vote remains we will have a trade deal with China. Everything's going to be okay. The markets will rip to the upside. The only question is how many retail investors watching this show and other content are going to get faked out and give up on the markets a little too soon. That's my biggest question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel the same way. I think we'll have a head fake or two this week that may, send some folks back into sell mode. But currently, it's 92% of folks on Polymarket. And this isn't the only spread. There's many other spreads kind of predicting this that have similar outcomes, saying that there will be a deal met. Let me just make clear. The deal deadline is November 1st. This spread was for November 10th. And President Donald Trump is meeting with President Xi Jinping of China on Thursday in Korea. So just to get that fact set fully correct there for you all in your trading week.
Wrong. And I might be speaking on my butt here. I thought that Trump said, though, he's going to meet with him in Korea and then also meet with him in China. And then he's going to have Xi Jinping come to the United States.
There was so there was an invitation for President Donald Trump to go to China, but that date has not been established. That was just an invitation that's been floated in the last 2 weeks, and he accepted that, but I don't think a date has been established. So it's this Korea meeting that the market is really kind of trending around. And right now, we're getting a very bullish Monday open on the stocks and a promising open for crypto. So we also, on the heels of kind of in response to, I should say, one of the finance ministers, the economic ministers, coming out and saying, "Hey, there's a strong relationship between the presidents." So it's good. I'll take the good news where I can get it. And when the spreads are up 92%, that keeps a smile on my face for sure. We talked about gold. I wanted to revise quickly, kind of moving out of China. I wanted to revise something that I said last week because you asked me, Tim, hey, will Bitcoin get a lot of the liquidity once gold starts selling off? And I said, I think actually a lot of that will go into silver. So far, we have not seen that kind of correlation. So far, silver has pretty much sold off alongside gold. So I do not expect silver to get the rotation from the liquidity selling out of gold. One last thing here, the FOMC update. We'll talk about this on Wednesday at length, but 2 p.m. is when they will be going live for the press conference there. Jerome Powell will be. This is not his last press conference, but we're getting close to his last one. That'll be in the new year. So this is going to be, very, very interesting to see how he positions himself here. 98% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. It's pretty much at this point a given. However, tuning into the live stream on Wednesday is going to be very beneficial because what he's going to say about the balance sheet is now what analysts over at JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are really drilling in on, saying, are they going to start buying bonds and injecting dollars back into the economy, taking bonds off of the spreadsheet of banks and putting dollars on the spreadsheet of banks, which can trickle down, or are they not going to do that, right? Are they going to hold off on what is called quantitative easing, transitioning from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing? JP Morgan came out last week and said next week the Fed will announce that they are pivoting to quantitative easing. So a lot of folks are expecting that. If Jerome Powell does not mention the balance sheet, and I'm sure if he doesn't mention his press conference, Timoros or one of the folks in the press booth there will ask him about the balance sheet for sure. But if he says we're not there yet, right? And we may not be there until, I'm out of here or something like that. If he gives too long of a date, of an expectation, sets that expectation too far into the future of when they're going to start buying bonds from the open market, that could potentially be a red flag, right? Now, I think the rate cut still outweighs any bearishness that might come from a sluggish balance sheet mobilization announcement. But as a bull, I'm definitely hoping that Jerome Powell says, hey, we are going to start buying bonds because of X, Y, and Z, and we're not going to stop buying bonds until the problem's fixed. That's what I want. And zooming out, of course, I don't want the Federal Reserve to exist. So I don't want to come across as the biggest Keynesian economics fan. But Tim, I wanted to ask you. So that's kind of the report for FOMC. Caleb Franzen will be joining us tomorrow on Wednesday. Starting at 1:50 is when we will go live, and we'll be previewing that. We'll do the release of the announcement, which at this point, we can only assume is going to be a cut, and then we will listen to Jerome Powell's live press conference, and then we'll do a little bit of analysis after the Q&A for Jerome Powell. That's going to be on Wednesday, 1:50 New York time, 1:50 Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be really fun. So make sure you tune in there.
Boom. Any other stories we have today that are of significance?
Well, there's a lot of stuff, Tim. You don't need to go to my screen, Smay, but there's a pretty big headline right now. Amazon just announced that they are going to begin laying off 30,000 people, 30,000 employees starting tomorrow. There was a rumor that I wanted to set the record straight on, that there was a leak from Amazon that there was going to be 600,000 employees in limbo. But the New York Times article that kind of leaked that information did not claim ever in the article that they were going to be fired 600,000. That they were going to have an alternative to hiring 600,000. That alternative likely to be AI and robotics. But a lot of folks got caught up on that. Just wanted to get the pure signal out there so that folks know exactly what's going on over at Amazon. But now they're coming out today and saying, hey, 30,000 employees are no longer going to have a job within the near future, and some of them aren't going to have a job as early as this week. So that sucks. Crazy. I don't know if you have a huge comment on that, Tim, but I do have a kind of a broader question for you. We had another awesome headline here. Citi and Coinbase are to develop digital asset payment capabilities. This is kind of just a feel-good headline. We've been getting these every single day, something like this, some major bank partnering with a crypto, TradFi meets crypto and kind of fusing together. The market doesn't seem to be trading on that. Why? Well, I'm not exactly sure. And I wanted to put it to you, Tim. One of the theories that I've kind of been cooking up is that the AI play has been so high risk and so high reward, or so I should say, so high reward with a decent amount of risk, but probably less risk than crypto. Do you think that that's been playing a role in why we're seeing a delayed movement for crypto's movement to the upside? Because AI is just still such a shiny, interesting play.
Yeah, I mean, the combination of blockchain technology and AI are the future of technologies. But right now, you're kind of seeing crypto in limbo. I think there's a handful of reasons why I think crypto is still being stifled, and why you're seeing other things like the AI space is still going up. I mean, the S&P 500. Let me show you my chart real quickly. I'm going to bring it back to my point here. S&P 500 is still ripping. This was really weird when I saw that Amazon headline. I was like, okay, how's the stock market performing? Well, the S&P 500 is continuing to set gaps to the downside. They probably need to close, right? This is an asset right now that is overextended. Probably does need to come back down here. Just shattering these highs here. It wants to correct. But then you look at you look at a stock like Amazon. Let me find it right here. Amazon, it's really not responding terribly to the news that I just had. It ran up this morning, hit a nice little order block here. It's having a small little correction. This, to me, Shrum, at least initially, the markets are live right now. So it's not like traders can't act on this news. They don't know about it. This, to me, doesn't scream that Amazon is at risk of having business problems. I think this screams to me of AI replacing certain jobs at Amazon, which we knew was happening. I mean, how long now? I don't know who the 30,000 are. I would have to assume some of them are going to be delivery and some of them are going to be stalkers. Why? Because AI and robotics can do, like, there are people who have stories of getting confused about what's happening with their deliveries as drones are delivering their packages. There are clearly and easily AI out there that can stock shelves and track data and stock things all over the place. So to me, I don't think this is a problem that's really causing much of an issue to the stock of Amazon. I think it's actually potentially going to be very bullish for the stock and just absolutely terrible for the 30,000 people who end up losing their jobs and losing their incomes. But hopefully, they're able to get back on their feet really quickly. When it comes to crypto and AI space, though, like I said, AI, I could look at this chart and what's going on here. You can go off my screen now, Snake, and tell you I think that the logic kind of points towards AI being involved with this Amazon news. Crypto on the other front, though, the other leg that's saying, okay, this is really exciting. It's brand new. People are going to run into it. You got to remember, we are on the doorsteps of having clear regulation. We're on the doorsteps of having ETFs for pretty much every blue chip altcoin out there, which whenever I talk about altcoin season, I don't really care about coin rank number 572. I don't care about the meme coin space. I don't care about little itty bitty micro caps. I care about the cryptos that I truly believe will have a massive role in the future of how finance is handled in the future, of how cryptos handle in the future, of how businesses tokenize, right? Those are the ones that I'm looking at. The reason I think they're stifled right now, though, is because it's bringing opportunity. Retail are freaking out, right? There's a combination. There are probably millions. I don't think I'm over-exaggerating. I think there are millions of people across the world still devoted to the theory of the 4-year cycle who are selling off right now because they're convinced the top is in based on the 4-year cycle theory, right? So I don't think you're seeing massive inflows from retail investors. I think you're seeing massive outflows that are being constantly bought up. Why are we like rallying a little bit / staying sideways? Because every time the price drops, I think there's a massive whale or an institution jumping the gun to buy some early. But the big money will flow when we see institutions get the green light from their shareholders and their boards that they can start massively buying crypto. One of the reasons I know this is true, I was talking about this with a friend earlier this week. One of the biggest and most bullish institutions on cryptocurrency for a long time, we don't talk about them a lot, but it's ARK Invest and Cathie Wood. Okay, so if you guys don't know who Cathie Wood is, brilliant lady, go listen to her. She's the CEO of ARK Invest. She was investing in crypto and Bitcoin way back in 2021. However, I vividly remember through the 2021 bull market, there were events that would come out and they would say Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are selling and taking profit on Bitcoin once again, top is in. But if you asked Cathie Wood what was happening, right, the actual person who's doing all this stuff, she was telling people, I don't want to sell. I don't think the top is in. I think Bitcoin's going to keep on climbing, but we have policies in our company that when an asset that we're invested in reaches a certain profitability, we have to take profit. What does that mean? Even the massively bullish institutions still have to follow their investment rules they set up. It's one of the reasons why they're successful investors. They create rules. Speaking of, we have a webinar coming out November 8th where I tell you my 10 rules for trading to keep your money safe while you're trading and investing. But that's just kind of a whole thing here. Cathie Woods and ARK Invest, they have rules to investing, and one of those rules are after a certain amount of profit, they have to take profit and they have to come out of the asset class. That shows you right there, institutions that I believe will bring trillions of dollars into crypto in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years. It's going to be a whole pull-up process. They will have rules, and a lot of them have rules right now. They can't invest in a single Satoshi of cryptocurrency until regulation is clear. Their board and their rules do not allow them to buy unregulated assets. Now, they're foaming at the mouth. They want to get in. They see the future, but they want to buy low too. So you see massive retail exiting. You see we're probably weeks away from clear regulation on and a green light to these institutions to buy. Why would they let it run up before they get that light? There's a part of me that almost wonders, Strum, if we might not see a new all-time high again until after that big announcement comes out about clear regulation. Why? Because I think the next big run will be fueled by institutions, not by retail. There are retail out there like me and you and people watching the show that are very bullish, and I would love to be wrong. I'd love to see us hit a new all-time high in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. But I just have this sneaky suspicion that what we're in right now is a little bit of a, hey, the whales and the institutions want to accumulate and buy cheap, and they have the excuse because retail are super scared and they're worried the 4-year cycle is over, or the 4-year cycle is intact, and we're going to sell off. It's the perfect excuse. It's an excuse I predicted back earlier this year. This would be an amazing opportunity for institutions to take advantage of fear from retail investors and buy some dips. I think it's playing out almost exactly how I thought it would have.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good take on the question of, why have we had kind of a failure to launch in crypto and altcoins? And, it's been disappointing for some. I mean, others that have been trading with us have made money because you can trade in a down market, you can trade in an up market, you can trade in a sideways market, and you can just make money. But, I'm definitely one of the folks who's looking at my altcoin bags and I'm thinking, kind of like the meme with the stick, like poking the bag.
Yeah.
Come on, do something. And some folks are looking at their bag and saying, "Oh man, this is a lot smaller than it was before." But the reality is these were always really high risk, high reward assets. I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, if you have bought names like Chainlink, Solana, Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and even going down the list into things like Sui or Ondo, those are names that I still believe in, right? That doesn't mean I know they're going to go higher, but I still look at all the analytics that I've done, that our team has done, and other really good teams like Fundstrat and MicroStrategies that they've done. They're not just coming up with these price predictions out of thin air, right? They're doing a lot of calculations. They're looking at the total addressable market of financial services in general, and they're looking at the momentum of names like Ethereum and smart contract technologies, and they're basing that their predictions and kind of their visions for what crypto is going to do in the short, mid, and long term based off of the data. So that's what I follow. When price does not reflect the data, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means that I'm not right yet, which is an investor's dream because it means that I can continue to buy at low prices. So that's, it's easy for me to say, but it is really that simple. If you have conviction in an asset class, you buy it, right? And if the price stays discounted, that only benefits you if you, again, are right. So the market has two sides. There's right and there's wrong. But that's the way I see it.
I'll tell you, you talk about dream come trues and when it's not, like this season right now is not the long-term investor's dream come true. It is the trader's dream come true, right? So if you're trading these markets, and we do both, we do long-term investments, we talk about long-term investments, we talk about long-term buy signals and things, but I'm going to make money no matter what's happening. And right now the charts have been super, super easy to trade if you're using the right tools. I think it's a great time to jump back into some technical analysis here. Let's start off by looking at total 3 here, right? We're starting with total 3. What total 3 is, if you don't know what these charts are on TradingView, total 3 is the crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So if you ever look at total, right, this chart now, we're sitting at 3.84 trillion. That's all the crypto, including Bitcoin. If you go to total 2, that's everything excluding Bitcoin, which means it includes Ethereum. But of course, if you ever go look at a coin, let's look over here. I was looking at Aster the other day. Almost made a video on Aster. There's like no chart on Aster, so I can't really do any price analysis there. Look at this right here. $2.29 billion market cap for Bitcoin, and then a $500 billion market cap. Let me say this again. I said that wrong. $2.29 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. I think I used a B. And 500, $500 billion is coming in for Ethereum. That right there, I mean, Bitcoin dominance by itself is up around 60. You add in Ethereum, it's just the majority of it. So total 3, it really gives you a better indication. You take out those 2 massive whales of the market cap. We're sitting just above $1 trillion right now. This is going to tell you a lot more. I think still, this really does tell you a lot about the blue chips. Right, we're looking at Solana and XRP. Solana, by the way, just got an announcement for a Hong Kong ETF. I think it's going to be a good sign for them. Is that going to take them to new all-time highs? Maybe not, but it's a good sign for them. But this is going to tell us what we should be expecting with altcoins. I'm not about to predict a breakout to crazy new highs. I do think you need to be prepared because this is a nice little cup and handle formation that is played out here on the total 3 and total 2, by the way, that should send us to the upside in the next couple of months. Not next week, not tomorrow. I am looking at 1.5 trillion on total 3 to be watching for. That would be a 50% increase in that total 3 chart. Massive rallies for your favorite altcoins. But right now, let's focus on some indicators here. We got a buy signal out here on the daily chart. Very clear buy signal. Green reversals, bullish momentum, positive money flow. What does that mean? Don't be surprised to see old total 3 make a run, not to new highs. Let's not get carried away. I'm only talking about getting back up here towards 1.1. I think we go higher. I think we could get back up here towards 1.19. But I would trade this and look at this and say, hey, my expectation is 1.12, 1.13. Why? Because that's back up towards this resistance level of the smart trail. You can see, you look at the historical moments of these buy signals, guess where you're touching and kind of stopping out here right as you get back up to those smart trails. You had one right back in here. You have one right back in here. You have one right back in here. You get up there, you touch them. There's sometimes, like I said, this is a great example. We got a buy signal back here on June 23rd. We ran through that smart trail and kept on going, right? So I'm not telling you we'll hit this smart trail at 1.12 and stop on a dime, but it is the level where I'm more comfortable as a trader right now, right? So we're talking about trading through this. It is where I would be taking profits. What does that mean? Start looking for altcoins out there that have daily buy signals that could have some pretty nice little breakouts. Ethereum right now, that one's probably actually getting close to its resistance level right now. So this might not be one to jump in at the moment. But if you had seen this indicator the other day, we got a buy signal here when this officially launched. Let's see. I wouldn't say it launched until right in here when the money flow was positive until October 23rd. So you could have bought Ethereum October 23rd at 3,800 with a target to the upside at 43.73. We're not there yet, but that is where we are heading at the moment. Absolutely. If you guys know anything about me and trading, this would have been a profitable trade, right? I was on vacation mode, not trading. I've not been entering trades for the last couple of days just because when you're on vacation, I don't like being in trades that like I can't get in and out of easily. I would have taken profit right here in this order block at 4,000 with a TP1. My TP2 would be up here at 43.80. That would still be active. But right there, you have Ethereum making a nice little move here. I would say you're looking for at least 43.77. Now, the question is, when do you start shorting, right? Some people are going to say, oh, let's just short resistance. I would wait for some confirmation. I would wait probably for at least a combination of let's hit my target here, and then let's get like a 4-hour sell signal, right? I don't think we have one just yet. I have to check the chart to confirm with you because, again, I'm not in vacation mode. I'm not just staring at charts all day, every day. Yeah, we don't have it just yet. What we do have is pretty overextended oscillators from the 4-hour chart. Red reversal, bearish momentum, but the money flow is still positive. Don't be surprised to see this come up one more time. In fact, actually, don't be surprised for it to not get that much momentum and come in lower, right, and top out right here, and the money flow keels over, all while what Ethereum actually ends up doing is making its own little run, hits our resistance level up here towards 43.80, 4,400, and then keels over, giving us a lower high on our oscillators, a higher high in price action. That is when I would look for a short little scalp on Ethereum. But I'll talk more about that when/if it happens in our VIP trading group. So you want to be over there, get this free indicator, and get access to daily trade setups with myself and other pro traders. By the way, in case you're in our group, I don't control the thoughts of our pro. I don't control your thoughts, and I don't control our pro traders' thoughts. There are times where pro traders in our group have different opinions than me, and they're successful with a lot of them. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes I'm right, sometimes they're wrong. Here's what I can tell you guys. Anyone who's over there, whether you want to listen to my trades, we have a guy there named Rufio who's crushing it. Well, I think he's trading more frequently than me. He's got like a 74, 75% win rate. Guess what? That means he loses 1 out of every 4 trades. But his gains are so big on the other ones. He's extremely profitable. Silent's extremely profitable. Steve's extremely profitable. They're not there to make you a foolproof plan that you just blindly follow. They're here to educate and teach people. So if you want a free indicator, if you want daily live sessions where you get to hear diverse opinion on the markets to help educate you, if you want educational content and a community that talks all day, every day about the markets, I don't think there's a better place than the Tim Warren Trading Group, the VIP Trading Group. Down below, go check it out right now. We'll talk about this, right? We will look for shorts on things like Ethereum. Let's look at some other coins here. Go back to my screen and let's see what else is kind of popping on some altcoin space. XRP broke resistance again here over the weekend. Got a little higher than the high we had back on October 13th. There is some resistance here. I can just go and tell you on the daily chart. There was a buy signal. Boom. Green reversal. Bullish momentum. Positive money flow. We're heading back up there. Guess what? Order block and smart trail telling me 277, 278. Place to watch here for XRP. It's still a lower high. It's not getting us out of the woods. We're not talking about new all-time highs for XRP just yet. We're talking about trading. Once again, Once we hit those targets, that doesn't mean enter a short right on them. That means look for confirmation on a couple lower time frames that a sell signal is in order, and then we'll have a nice little scalp down to the downside. But that's what I'm watching for XRP. I think some of these runs are reaching some pretty critical resistance levels. I think it's a good point to kind of pause for a second, because we're going to see this on other charts as well. Talked about it a little bit here on Ethereum. We're talking about it right now on XRP. The title of this video here, guys, the next 48 hours, crypto's next 48 hours are super critical. Let me be clear why. Because what we're expecting in 48 hours from now, a little less than 48 hours from now, is to hear rate cuts are coming and quantitative easing is going to happen. But how do markets respond to it? Do we run into this resistance and reject, right, and come back down? Or do we break through? Do we potentially return to these levels that were resistance today? Do they get turned into support later this week? And then all of a sudden we're talking about rips to the upside with new all-time highs. This is why right now, as I'm walking you through this, why am I saying don't short the moment we hit this resistance? Because if it ends up doing this, you'll get wrecked. Right? I don't want to enter a long right here because I'm not convinced this is definitely going to happen. We could easily see this happen. And I want to wait for that confirmation to get a short in, and I can short it to downside. What I'm saying is we have to watch over the next 48 hours, how do we treat these resistance levels over the next 48 hours? For XRP, how do we respond to 277, 278? On Ethereum, how do we respond when we hit up here towards $4,400? On Bitcoin, how do we respond when, again, /if, how do we respond when we do hit 117? I think it's going to be the level we're watching here once this loads. 117, we could get as high as 118, honestly, right? How do we respond? Do we get high volume breaking through? Very bullish. Do we come back down? Even if that happens, do we come back down and return to these levels as support and then bounce? Very bullish. But if we get to them, or even a little above them, but immediately start to drop back down below them, that is the sign right there. If you want to make money, short the markets. I'm not telling you to sell your long-term bags. I'm not telling you take profit on everything and run for the hills. I'm saying make sure you have a trading portfolio and a long-term investment portfolio, and it's proper at times where the markets gives a sign of weakness to short and hedge, and then guess what? You have dry powder to buy dips. So that's why confirmation when you're looking at trading is so very, very important. By the way, right now, guys, I'm getting deep into the bag of some education stuff that I kind of normally say for my VIP trading group. This is the kind of stuff I talk through every single week. So if you want to hear more about these thoughts like this and what I'm thinking about the markets and what the other guys are thinking, come check out that VIP trading group. Let's look at some others. I got to look at my favorite here, Chainlink, but it's not been the belle of the ball here over this little run, right? We saw, for example, XRP breaking some highs from the last two little rallies over the last couple of weeks. Chainlink not in the same boat, right? Chainlink definitely still even in this camp of lower lows, lower highs. You know, I said I want to get back above $20 just to start talking longer term bullish talk with Chainlink. You really need to see Chainlink get back above 23.65 to really feel confident about it. Let's get this load right here. I think Chainlink, like the others, has a buy signal as well, right? You can see it here, green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow, very good sign. This gives us a target, nice order block / our little smart show resistance coming in here at $20.91. So again, if then what? What happens? I guess what then if? What happens when we get up here to 2090? Do we break through, use this support and take off? Or do we reject right here and come back down to the downside, right? This daily chart, daily buy signal, very good, very lethal, great trading tool. Doesn't guarantee us a massive run to the upside. It just tells us, hey, very good chance we reclaim 20 and get close to $21 over the next couple of days. So watch for this over the 48 hours, the next 48 hours as we kind of get ready for this big move one way or the other. Are we rejecting and going lower? Are we breaking through and hitting new all-time highs? That is the big question right now. Let's look at Solana really quickly. I'm probably going to wrap it up here and with some TA that I'm going to do, and then maybe you guys can ask some questions. Start dropping some questions in chat. You can ask chart questions. You can ask news questions. You can ask trading questions. You can ask indicator questions. You guys, we're going to take like 5 minutes here in a minute and answer some of your questions. Solana, of course, again, had some big news, had their daily buy signal, very good stuff. We have a nice little target. This is actually coincidental right here. You guys know we broke below some key support, right? Solana was in an uptrend with higher highs and higher lows called a rising wedge pattern. Told you guys weeks ago I thought this was going to break to the downside and lose this green. Right now, as I turn this indicator on, the daily buy signal, that's very clear. It runs into, guess what? The smart trail at 217 gives us resistance on that green line. What was that? Former support. Is it going to turn into strong resistance again? You can see we already rejected on it right back here after our relief rally on October 13th. Will it happen again? Will we have this big dip to the downside and go even lower? Or, again, can we break through? Can we turn this green line back into support? Can we turn this whole period of time into just a blip on the radar, a fake out, and all of a sudden we're talking about new all-time highs for Solana? But that's where we are at the moment. So I'm still bullish even in the short term. I think there's a lot of things right now suggesting there's going to be volatility, right? If I were to go down to the 1 hour chart, guarantee you we're seeing some semi-sell signals right now. Actually, that's a little buy signal on their 1 hour chart. But don't be surprised on a lower time frame. Look at the volatility that's been in play here, even during this rally. Big run, volatility. Look at all the times we touched this smart trail right in here that you could have had a nice little short scalp position. Doesn't mean the bull trend's over. It just means, hey, traders can use these indicators, use this indicator, can't account for all indicators, and make some great little scalp moves. But I'm looking at that daily chart. I'm seeing that buy signal. I'm seeing the strength of what the next 40 hours should look like as people are probably positive. Gotta believe Solana makes a move up here towards 217. The question then is what happens afterwards. So let me answer this question real quick. Ryan Storm says, is LuxAlgo still a channel sponsor? Well, so LuxAlgo actually has not been a channel sponsor. They were a tool that we were using. Great tool, by the way, right? LuxAlgo is very cool. If you have LuxAlgo, you're never going to hear me say anything bad about LuxAlgo. You're never going to hear me talk about bad about any indicator out there. Ultimately, tools are as good as the people that use them. That is what it is. Where we have gone as a group, I love LuxAlgo. We have partnered to be now part of the owners of this new indicator where our users get to use it for free, right? If you sign up for our VIP training group, you still have to go buy LuxAlgo, right? You don't get it for free. What we've done is work with somebody and we've rebuilt systems. We've made them even better and we have it set up so our traders get it for free. This is just what we're going forward with our business. Anyone who has LuxAlgo and you love LuxAlgo, if you're sitting here saying, oh, Tim says LuxAlgo sucks, I don't want to use it ever again. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I feel like we're building something even bigger and even better. And that's a compliment to everything LuxAlgo is. We're just going to try to go even bigger and better and give it for free to all of our VIP members. So that's where we are right there. But shout out to LuxAlgo. Love them. Love everybody over there. Salt of the earth, these people. It's just a business, right? We want to get this game as well. We're in the trading game. We want to help people be successful the same way LuxAlgo does. We have a different way of doing it. That's what we're doing here. So, shout out to Ryan for that question. Good question. Shout out to Jake from New Jersey. What's up? What's up is the markets right now, honestly, right? That's a good thing to be up right now. Just not convinced for sure that the bottom is in just yet. You can go off my chart here, Smay, as we look at for questions. Smay, Shrum, if you guys see any questions, interrupt me. Leslie says he was just talking. He has a lot of words today. I was, believe it or not, as big as I am, I was bullied a lot as a child. And I remember this hurting my feelings when I was little. And I grew up and I was like, you know what? Whatever. This is how God made me. It's my talent. Kids used to make fun of me in high school that Tim could talk to a rock for hours. You know what? It is what it is. God made me a talker. I like to talk. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed. I think that's funny, Leslie. Thank you for being here. Leslie, by the way, is in our group, in our VIP training group. So hopefully she's using those indicators. What did you see, Shrum? Sorry.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Someone did ask thoughts on Tau, and I will just say, if you go back and you look at Tau's chart, it has done extremely well compared to other altcoins. It has definitely outperformed the rest of the altcoin space in the month of October. So I'd say Tau, amazing. I was somebody who was telling you all very early on, because I have a little bit more of an intimate understanding about how AI is going to insert itself in the marketplace, that AI cryptos are not the move. I was telling you guys this in fall of 2024. However, Tau is a little different, right? Their approach to what they're doing in AI is really leveraging the full strength of what a blockchain is as a piece of technology as it relates to what artificial intelligence can bring us. In short, artificial intelligence makes everything fake and infinite, and blockchain makes it real and finite again, right? And that is not my quote. That is Balaji Srinivasan's quote. He's much smarter than I am, but that is a true statement. So it makes a lot of sense that very few crypto AI projects will make it through the filter of that 90% evisceration rate. I think Tau is going to make it. I think Render has potential, and there are probably a few others that I don't know about that have potential as well. But Tau is where I have put my chips. I've concentrated my whole AI crypto bag just to Tau, and I have been rewarded for that.
Yeah, I think Tau is going to be a big part of the future. I'll show the chart here in a second. There's a couple other questions clarifying some things. KG Crypto says, can you use Breakout in the U.S.? Absolutely. We're in the U.S. Pretty much the majority of our users, people have signed up with it on the U.S. I think we've had a couple that are from overseas, but yeah, you definitely can use it in the U.S. There is a KYC process, but that's even cooler is that lets you know you're good to go, even in the United States. Someone just said, let me find it. Bitabito N9T. What name? Can I try paying? Can I try by paying the essentials and then update if I like it? Absolutely. I think someone asked earlier, what level of our memberships do you have to have? Right. We have the essentials package. I think it's $60 a month right now for essentials. That comes with the live chat and Discord, the live trading sessions. You can see my trade setups. That's our basic package right now. Also, it comes with a free indicator, right? Everyone gets it. The Academy, if you don't know really much about technical analysis and you're new to trading and you want to learn, yes, it's more expensive, but it comes with educational videos that start from the basics of how to read technical analysis. This is what we encourage people. If you're brand new, get the Academy for a month or two at least, right? And learn. Watch the videos. There's a lot of videos on there, some good hours on there. Learn the technical analysis, then downgrade to the essentials, right? Save money. You still get the indicator. If you want to go crazy deep with Crux and do some gem hunting, right? That's not my field. That's not Shum's field. If you want to learn about some microcaps that have some big play, that one you can also sign up as well. But to answer the question, if you're sitting here saying, man, Tim, this indicator is fire, I want to start using it, what package do I have to buy? It's the essentials. So go get the essential package. If you're new to trading, again, I don't just want your money. I want you to learn. Get a month or two of the Academy, then downgrade to the essentials would be my plan for you. All right, let's do some Tau, TA, real quick, because we were just mentioning it. Love Tau. Fundamentally love it. And the fact, I'll tell you right now, even though what I'm about to say is not as bullish as some of these other coins we're talking about, I still think Tau is resetting itself up for some nice moves here. But you're going to notice on the daily chart, one of these charts is not like the other. What is it? Tau does not have an active buy signal. In fact, Tau had a sell signal from back. Definitely, you had one right in a little mini one right here and another mini one right in here. One of them being the 10th of October. Of course, very good date for a sell signal. And then the 20th of October. And while they didn't come all the way back down to the smart trail, they did come back down towards order blocks that we tell people to be aware of. And that's one of the reasons why we have a strategy. We use TP1s and TP2s. We teach that in our trading group. But that's not a buy signal right now. So Tau might be in a little bit of an accumulation phase, not ready to rip to the upside. When I get the next buy signal, we'll be good here. But here's what I will say, accumulation. Like this is where my indicator is not what you're looking for here. Are we just looking at a little bit of an accumulation inside of a little channel or a pennant attached to an explosive move here that could end up being a bull flag? I don't know if Tau's ready to do this explosion just yet. But when it's ready, if this maintains, if we can keep staying here above 368, and we then get a big breakout with higher volume, this could send Tau all the way back up to $734 per coin. Could just about guarantee you it'll also be matched with a daily buy signal. Here's what I read this right now. Any oscillator, anytime you have consolidation and the oscillator itself, if I come back in here, is moving downward. It's almost like a reloading phase. So price is going sideways, right? Price is bouncing sideways. Oscillator is falling down. That sets it up very nice for not a big drop in price. And then we come down here and we get our buy signal later on. We get the green reversal. We get the bullish momentum. We get the positive money flow. It shoots up and then Tau takes this rip to the upside. But I think, I'm not going to go to the 1 hour and 4 hour. There's probably some 1 hour and 4 hour trades. I'm kind of focused on the daily chart here for this show. I am bullish on Tau. It just doesn't have the same level of bullishness right now on the daily chart that the others do, but it's resetting. When that buy signal comes back, I will be another buyer of Tau again. I mean, we bought back in here, so hopefully other people bought sub 300 as well. But I'll be a buyer of it again as we make some big moves on Tau. Very bullish on it. Guys, there's so many questions. I wish we could answer all of them. Go off my screen here, Smay. Wish we could answer all of them. Are we bullish on Render? I'm not bearish on Render. I'm not very bullish on Render. I'll be honest with you, Be Wild. There's actually a great video fundamentally why Crux, our fundamental guy. Go check out his channel, Crux of Crypto. He's making a video. He has a video coming out right after the stream is over. Go watch that video. But he has a good one where he compared Render and Tau. That video will explain to you why the arguments he makes there is why I'm more bullish on Tau than I am Render. Man, there's so many good questions here. Guys, I will be back next week from vacation. Enjoy me being on vacation because markets pump while I'm on vacation. We'll be able to do more Q&A later on. Here's what I'll tell you. A lot of these questions you can ask other members in our community. It's another big reason to be on our Discord. Like, it's not just like some people are like, oh, if I get to Discord, I'll get way more Tim. You do get more Tim, right? I do multiple live trading sessions. I answer people's questions. I'm in chat. But I think the cooler part of our group is that it's not just me. You get more from Shrum. You get more from Rufio and Crux and Silent and others who are just phenomenal. By the way, the creator, the guy who designed this free indicator, it's not a free indicator, but it's free for you guys users. He's in our Discord as well. So he knows some answers to some of the technicals on there that I don't even know. We have a wealth of knowledge in that VIP trading group. Go check it out. All your questions will be answered by someone who probably is even smarter than me, who maybe just doesn't talk to rocks like I do, I guess is the best way to put it. Guys, that's all we have for you in today's live show. Thank you so much for showing up, for being here. All of you guys over on X, so glad you guys are here. Smash the like on your way out on both platforms. On YouTube, make sure you subscribe right now to the channel. Let's get 60,000 before I finish this vacay. On X, make sure you're following my account. We just got over 16,000 followers on X. I want to get up to 100,000. X is easier to grow than YouTube. So make sure you guys are following right now. We will see you guys, the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Shrum and the boys will be here. I will see you guys in a video tomorrow. Adios.